we have started yesterday infrared spectroscopy. So infrared spectroscopy, infrared band, if you remember, have this frequency range 10 raised power 13 to 1.59 10 raised power 14 hertz. In wavelength units, it is zero point zero 0.03 millimeter, or you can say 30 micrometer to 750 nanometer. This is the broad range for infrared region. If we work out this in wave number, so it is in fact 3.33 10 raised power 4 to 0.53 10 raised power 6 per meter. If we in fact calculate this, because this is a very big value which is very difficult to remember, and do not forget that for microwave and infrared region, we are using wave number unit as standard units. We are not using frequency and wavelength units. So we are supposed to make use of wave number units. So here we are having in fact, it is a very large value which are very difficult to remember. Let's say for remembering this one, 10 to raise power 4, if it is per meter. So we have to replace this decimal to 4 decimal place on right hand side. So it's like this.
What?
3000. What is this? So we shall have here very large values which are difficult to remember. So to make it smaller so that we can easily remember 3 digit or 4 digit max. So what we do is we convert this per meter into per centimeter. So in if in 1 meter there are that X number of waves present. So in 1 centimeter, it shall be 100 times less present. So this is why the data shall be minimized. So if we divide this by 10 raised power 2, 100 mean 100. So it shall be 10 raised power 2 mean 333 per centimeter. And similarly here if we have, we shall have 10 raised power 4 mean 5300 per centimeter. So these values can easily be rememberable. Maximum range is 333 to 5300 per centimeter is the IR region. So these values are 3 or 4 digits can easily rememberable. So for human memory, this is fine. So that's why we focus on this per centimeter units rather per meter units. Similarly, we divide the IR region into two parts. One is 333 to 4000, where we observe transition in vibrational energy level following selection rule, or these are allowed transition. The transition in vibrational energy level are taking place to consecutive energy level, and these are normally absorption spectroscopy. In case of higher than 4000 to 5300 per centimeter, this is a region where we get forbidden transition in vibrational energy level. So transition taking place of violating the selection rule V plus minus 1. If it is being violated, let's say we have V plus minus 2 or V plus minus 3. In all such cases, it needs more energy, definitely. So when it is having more energy, it falls into greater than 4000 to 5300. This is called overtones. I remember you remember in we have explained this in much detail earlier. हाँ क्लास के बाद 9 मिनट. So 4000 to 5300 per centimeter is the range where we are reporting the in fact uh, overtones. Overtones mean consecutive. The transition is not taking place between consecutive vibrational energy level. It is taking place one higher or two higher than the consecutive. So definitely it shall have higher energy. So it shall fall in higher region. It also fall in IR region, but it ranges from 4,000 greater than 4,000 to less than 5,300 per centimeter. So this spectroscopy where overtones are studied is commonly called as Raman spectroscopy. So Raman is the name of a scientist who first basically studied this on contribution of him on study of overtones in vibrational energy levels. So this spectroscopic method is given a name, Raman spectroscopy, on his name. Otherwise, you shall not find the spectroscopic method given to a specific name of a scientist. This is a very unique. So now what is IR spectrum? We are not going to discuss Raman spectroscopy because it is not from structure elucidation perspective. It doesn't have a big applications. So in organic chemistry, it doesn't have a big application. That's why we are not discussing this in this due course. But we shall discuss IR spectroscopy, which gives us a very good information about the functional groups, in fact. Now, coming back to the IR spectroscopy, what is this? So it shall range from triple three to 4,000 per centimeter. Now, first of all, just look at here, because if you remember all bonds that we are having, these are in constant motion. This is what we call they are rotating, right? You have seen in previous microwave spectroscopy. Second, they are also vibrating. They also vibrates. The bonds are not rigid because it is just like a electronic clouds of the two nuclei of two atoms are getting closer to each other. So sharing of electron or loss and gain of electrons are taking place. So in such a case, the bonds are just like springs. So when we apply a force on this body, let's say this mass is hanging with a spring. If no force is applied, it shall have a static position. But once we apply a force, let's say I apply a force on this body, so it shall move down. It shall get stretched. Once it gets stretched and we release the force, so it shall come back to its position, but it shall not stop here. It shall go backward. Whatsoever the displacement it has made, downward, it shall go back same way backward. So stretching and compression shall be the same. It shall keep moving just like a pendulum moves around its axis. So it shall keep moving, stretching, compression. This pattern shall be repeated. So this pattern shall be repeated until and unless the force effect is nullified. Because when it is going downward or backward, it is having a friction with air. Although the friction with air is not very high, but it has some value. So it shall retard it shall apply force against stretching. So as a result, with the passage of time, it shall coming back, that x value or displacement value shall decrease and it shall coming back to this original position, and one time shall reach when it shall become static. This is when no force is applied. So according to Hooke's law, if you remember, so this mode, when we are moving this down, this is called stretching. If the spring is enlarged by the application of a force, this is called stretching. And when it is coming back to compensate the force, because according to third law of Newton, when force is applied, it has an opposite response. When we apply a force, it comes back, it stretches, and when it comes back, it compresses. This is how the force effect is being neutralized by the system. This is how spring works. So this is called compression. So stretching and compression are taking place side by side. So let's say on molecular level, we shall come later, but just apply what the physics says, that force we have applied on this body of mass M, it causes a displacement. Displacement is always in the opposite direction of force. If force is applied downward, displacement shall be upward. That's why we write minus x. Displacement is always in opposite direction. So F is directly proportional to force. More force we apply, more displacement shall take place. So if we replace the sign of proportionality by equality, so we introduce a constant to a dependent variable. So x, k is multiplied with the x. So force is independent variable, x is dependent variable. So we have an equation. This equation is called Hooke's law. Hooke is the name of scientist who first make studies this in physics. So here F is a force, X is displacement, and K is a constant. This constant is called Hooke's constant. It is also called spring constant. This is also called force constant. All three names are given in different books. You shall find Hooke's constant, spring constant, or force constant. This is commonly called. So why we are studying this? Because this spring model applies to our molecules. Our molecules are also vibrating. Because if you remember, the total energy of a molecule is equal to its energy of translation, its vibrational energy, and its rotational energy. Because the molecule is rotating, it has rotational energy. A gas molecule also have vibration. Liquid molecule also has vibration. So they are having vibrational energy. If it is molecules of liquid or gas, they are moving from one place to another place. So they are also having kinetic energy. The kinetic energy in solid is zero because the molecules are compact, they are not moving anywhere. But they have vibrational energy, they have rotational energy. We cannot say that solids doesn't have kinetic energy. That is true, but it is not true that they do not have vibrational and rotational energy. They have it. So the sum of all is the overall energy of the system, plus if we add electronic energy, energy with respect to its electronic energy levels. All these collectively is basically called as overall energy of the molecule, that we commonly call it. So vibrational energy becomes zero at absolute zero when the temperature is minus 273 degrees Celsius, mean absolute zero. At that temperature, the vibrational energy or rotational energy is zero. Mean the molecule is not going to rotate, the molecule is not going to vibrate. So it is not showing transition in vibrational energy level, it is not showing transition in rotational energy level. So transition in rotational and vibrational energy level becomes restricted at zero absolute or zero Kelvin, mean minus 273. If we bring a molecule at minus 273 degrees Celsius temperature, then its vibrational energy and rotational energy shall become zero. Mean all energy levels shall be rotational and vibrational shall be present in ground state. No transition shall be taking place. So anyhow, this is just introduction about that all molecules not only rotating, but they are also vibrating. Now this is very important to say, if my mass of body is attached here, other body mass is attached here, so they are all the time they are vibrating. So bond length that we call, it is the average of compressed and stretched bond. Their average is called bond length. They are compressing and stretching with a very fast rate that our instrument are not able to detect this. Otherwise, we can get two bond lengths for every bond, two bond lengths, just like you have seen microwave. In microwave, we are getting only one because this is an average of compressed and stretched bond. It is not all kind. If we are increasing temperature, so compression and stretching is also increasing. And we are decreasing the temperature, the rate of compression and stretching shall be decreased. So anyhow, this is just an introduction, and let's move further. In this case, I have presented this is a equation which is applicable to the spring systems and macro systems. Just you'll see with your naked eye a spring having a mass m mass can be in grams, it may be in kilograms, it may be in tons. So whatsoever, all of these are macro systems. But when we are talking about molecular level, this equation is not applicable. So what happened? Schrodinger wave equation provide another solution. Three or four solutions you have already come across in atomic structure, like principle as the mouthful, magnetic, and spin quantum numbers. Secondly, you have also come across another important aspect, that one solution is also applicable to microwave spectroscopy. And another solution of Schrodinger wave equation is applicable to vibrational energy levels. So Schrodinger wave equation can be worked out. So energy of vibrational energy level is equal to V plus half into H K over reduced mass under root divided by 2 pi. Now what these are? Here V is the vibrational energy level. H is Planck's constant, you are already familiar with, 6.60 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. K is, this K is, you have already come across, force constant, spring constant, or Hooke's constant. So in this whole course, we shall call this force constant. But it doesn't mean this is the only name. It may also be called spring constant. It may also be called Hooke's constant. But we shall use, in spectroscopic method, we use force constant. And similarly, mu, the mic of home is open. This this is in fact reduced mass you have seen. It is the mass of one body in a strange or compressed bond into the mass of the other divided by their sum of masses. And if you remember, this is for 1 mole. If we are interested to calculate per bond or per molecule, so we are supposed to divide this by Avogadro's number. All right. So these are the some parameter. Pi you are already familiar with. So this equation coming from Schrodinger wave solution. So let's see if we are talking about ground state energy. If it is ground state energy, then E1 is the energy in the lower energy level, first energy level. So this is V1 plus half. Let's say this is ground state energy level. Not necessarily it is zero. It may be this is one. So we have suppose, let's say this is zero. It doesn't make any difference. If this is, let's say, value one, so we shall have one plus half, right? And then if V2 value we are taking as 1, it may be 2 as well. Let's say this is 1, this is 2, doesn't make any difference. This shall be 2 plus half, it shall be 1 plus half. So it shall give you no difference. Either we take ground state or we take first energy level. So transition is taking place between first and second, maybe second and third, but this is consecutive. This transition is taking place absorption and from lower to next consecutive. 0 to first or first to second or second to third, doesn't make any difference whatsoever is the value. But this is important that transition should be taking place between consecutive. 0 to 1, fine. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, fine. Selection rule is applicable. So anyhow, here we are taking V1 ground state, which has a value 0. So 0 plus half h into this one. So we shall have, we apply this value and we come to know it is equal to, because 0 plus half is half, so half shall divide multiplied with this 2. So shall we have h over this factor divided by 4 pi. This is equation number 2 for one vibrational energy level which is lower in energy, that we are stating this is ground state energy. Ground state. Ground state level of the vibrational energy level. All right, just hang on. कितने पैसे?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we are having not much time left. So we shall log in again. I'm just going to elaborate this page. So we shall continue later. So we may have a disconnection, but we shall join it again. So E1 is the, this value we have come to know. Equation number 2 is remodified. E2 is definitely, this is the energy of the second higher energy level. So second higher energy level energy is E2. So this is V2 definitely. So V2 we are saying this is next higher, next energy level. It was 0, so it shall be first. So we shall have 1 plus half here. So when we have this 1 plus half, it is 1 and half is 3 by 2. So it shall be 3h, this factor, divided by 2 into 2 pi, which shall be 4 pi. Now look at equation 3 and equation 2. These two equations, it is having 1, it is having 3. Now let's see if we have this value 1 here. We have this value 1. So we shall have 1 here. So we shall have 3h by 4 pi, like this one. And if we have this V2 shall be 2. So if it is 2, 2 and half, 2 and half is 5 by 2. So it shall be 5 divided by 4 pi. So we shall have 3 here and 5 here. So it doesn't make any difference if we have 1 and 3 here or 3 and 5 here, because look at the next. Delta E is the difference of energy, higher minus lower, final minus initial, which is absorption spectroscopy. So it shall be higher is this one, lower is this one. So we have subtracted. All this factor is common. H k into reduced mass under root over 4 pi is constant. This is constant. And what is left behind is 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So 2 shall be cancelled out with this 4. 1 by 2. So we end with this equation over 2 pi. Now, let's say we have this value here 3 and here 5. It shall be 5 minus 3. Again, the answer shall be 2, which shall cancel out with this 4, making you 2. If it is, let's say, 3 and 5, so these values shall change. Always we shall end with this one if it is